Sunday School on podcast. Today is our concluding conversation on the marriage conversations, and today we are dealing with the issue of family stress. In fact, if you are living in Ghana today or in the world as at now, there is no human being who is not under stress. So to assume that you are too much, your stress level is too much that you need to kill yourself or you need to dissolve your marriage because it's like you don't even see the value of being in a marriage and being stressed. Please, it's not you alone. We are all under stress. So once again, I'm here with my esteemed guests. I have with me Mr. Awuni, I have the Kim Frimpong, and Mrs. Your name here?
My husband's name.
And that's the name I like.
Atichobi.
Atichobi, yes. So we are talking about dealing with family stress. Now, stress, it says, is the meaning of stress has been said to be tension. When there is tension in something, it brings stress. Now, we are looking at the issue of whether stress has something to do with sin. So I want Deacon to give us, we want to extract the two so that we don't mix it up. Because stress, is it sin that it brings stress? Or stress is a natural thing?
Okay, thanks for the question. Stress is a natural thing. As long as we are on this earth, one way or the other, we pass through certain stress. But the source that will determine whether it is sin or not.
So the source determines whether the stress is a sin or not. But wait, does sin induce stress or stress induce sin? Because I'm seeing, is it?
No, it's both sides.
Both sides?
Yeah,
okay.
Both sides. Because you can compare yourself. Let's take our financial status. Let's say you are a middle income learner and someone is a little bit ahead of you. You know, for natural means, we all want to attain a certain height in life. So if you don't take care, the sister or the brother who is living in a kind of luxurious life or something, of which if you compare, you are not in any way close to the person, you'll be tempted to have that pressure. That person's financial status or his money or her money will put you on certain pressure that you want to attain such level of status, and that will push you to do pressure. Whatever thing that you want to do, because you want to meet a certain goal that you've set for yourself. And if you are outside the church, if you are outside the church, then you'll be tempted to do everything possible, whatever means, to get to that status. And that is where the sin comes in. But other things like working for so many hours can put stress on you. That one is not a sin. It might be your normal duty activities that you are doing. Even in the church, you can be so busy working within the church. You see, activities.
The church, the one you mentioned that you brought me, I think recently, I think a couple of weeks ago, we saw TD Jakes actually almost fainting on pulpit.
Yeah.
And then he says that there was emergency surgery they had to take him through because he was not paying attention to taking care of himself.
You see,
some stress in him. You
can't deceive nature. Nature is such a way that you work for some time and you have to rest the body. You see, so if you don't do that and you want to cheat nature, you want to work, you are smart, nature will put you down. So the rest of, like you are saying, the man of God, let's say 3 or 4 days, he'll be detained to be in a house.
No, they've taken for he was like almost like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You see, so you rest.
Exactly.
So you rest. You see, you can't. You rest. So nature will put you down for you to rest. Those times that you didn't rest.
So there's natural stress that is a death, which we need to face as human beings.
Exactly.
Mr. Medical Man.
So you see, there are some companies, their HR is very particular about you. They will plan to leave from head office. Mr. Bubon, from the 10th of July,
You're going on
that possibility. Whether you like it or not, tell the student that they will deactivate all your accounts in the office. If you won't come in and do you have to do it because they are particular about it. So you have to do it. But there are some companies too. When you even want to apply for it,
you have to negotiate.
Yes, negotiate it. Some will even want to buy you off your leave.
Yes, and keep you at work.
You think, oh, we here company now, and we company to right here.
Applications will come.
Oh, of course. Yeah, some are even they will replace you right now. So as we are discussing, leave is very important for everyone.
Okay, so we are looking at stress on the family. On the family. Madam Magdalene, you are a family woman. Stress on the family. Give us some examples of kind of stress that comes from the family.
Okay.
In today's life.
The contemporary. Okay. Now contemporary marriages now, the stress is from different avenues. Why am I saying this? First of all, we have to stress on the fact that stress is not a sin. Because it comes from natural circumstances that are sometimes beyond our control because of where and how we find ourselves at a particular time. So we cannot say it's sin. But then we should not forget the fact that sometimes that stress can push you to do things that will now become sinful. Why am I saying this? Brother is asking me some of the constraints when it comes to most of the marriages. Let's just be honest and blunt about this. In most of the homes that we have now, one of the major things that is affecting us is our financial constraints. So, assuming Mr. Wuni and the wife, Dickie Frimpong and the wife, yourself and your wife and myself, we all married in 2015. It's just an example. Now, the points that some of the wives, let's say all the 4 wives, maybe we are friends, the points that the 4 of us are missing is that if, let's say Mr. Wuni works with Goldfields, there is no way my husband's salary can match up to Mr. Wuni. Now, one major thing that will affect us with this constraint we are talking about is the peer pressure. Now we are going on, let's say that, this season, we say we are tired, work stress, making so much noise. We are going on a trip.
Going to relax.
Now, we say, let's all meet at Eagle's Nest. We will sip one drink, and then maybe we are going to Buzia. Hey! Now Mr. Willis will come with the wife. Hey! Some Range Rover. Then maybe they came from Pong, some G-Wagon. Then maybe Brad Jerry maybe has a nice Camry. Oh. Then me and my husband.
Even charter taxi.
My husband has a motor. So I arrive, maybe I don't know, maybe we are from different vicinities. So I didn't know this. But maybe I arrive at the back of my husband's motor with it. Let's just put ourselves in that situation. So it's a constraint, and it actually puts so much stress on us that if care is not taken, now Magdalene will be giving her husband Michael pressure to match up to Mr. Wuni. Meanwhile, the fingers are not warm. So that's my small take.
Let's look at the other things that's, because we're talking about the comparison. She has talked about the comparison and all those things, trying to fit into the society, which we may not necessarily need to, because Christians, the Bible says that be content with certain things as you have. Contentment is a big issue. The Bible says that we should be content with what we have. But it seems like if we stray from that, then stress will start coming because we are not content. If you are not content with your income, you're going to try to get money from other means, and that will impose some stress on you. And then let's go into the scriptures. As for the scriptures there, I've mentioned it. In Proverbs, it mentions about wine. Attitudes, bad attitudes that we pick up that bring stress on the family. If a man picks up the attitude of humanizing, it has an effect of bringing some level of stress on your family. You pick up the attitude of drinking. Women pick up the attitude of materialism, trying to buy all kinds of things that are not realistically needed in the family, and then we have to make money available for things that are not yet relevant to us. All these things are bringing stress. Now, Mr. Awuni, let's talk about the issue of attitudes. The attitudes. The bad attitudes. Let's talk about attitudes. Addictions. Awuni.
So, just as you mentioned, drinking, humanizing, materialism, the other attitudes. A Christian, like you said, is supposed to be content with whatever it is. Let's say, for example, the kind of church we are managing in our marriage. Sometimes, be it you like it or not, you are supposed to manage it, no matter how right it is. For example, in my house like this, I know my kids are supposed to be about to get to around 6 a.m. in the morning. They are supposed to be about like 6. They are supposed to be the past. So I wake up around 5 a.m. The 5 a.m. I wake up, I make sure they are breakfast and by 6, the massive day they are gone. They leave, I come back, I sleep for less than an hour, and get up to break. This is the kind of stress I am managing. But as a married person, be it a wife or a husband, like we're talking about bad attitudes like this, I don't think as a Christian.
So imagine that this level of normal stress you have.
Yes.
Then you introduce
these
another attitude into it.
And all those things. What if let's imagine you wake up home. What time is it that you're going to wake up and have that time for the kids? But there are times you over drunk and all those things. You can't even
And the money that you use
use to pay the fees and all those things will go into those habits. So as a Christian, I think that the kind of stress we are managing right now is enough for us. Those who are those alcoholism, humanizing, because a friend will tell you that when you come home with a message, you have the wife and you say you want to find ways to make food with the hands. Go and give it to that woman. She will know that you say this money to for a year, but on not playing. So I believe that Christian, let's do away with these bad attitude of drinking and humanizing and those kind of things that will not bring any benefits to your body itself. Even aside the stress that will harm your body. And by so doing harming your body, your children will also feel that effect. Because let's assume you go and make them the way you accident, but you are going to bring a stress to your children. Who take care of you? So I believe that as Christians, this kind of partners are not supposed to have our life at all. Just do our business.
I think some of the attitude to is like temperaments. Somebody anger, they get the job, and because of anger, they lose the job. They get some business out of anger, they spell things. So I think all these attitudes combined together are giving like there's a replicating effect that will come out of the family as a whole. Now let's have another thing. The issue of adultery. Hebrews talks about the marriage bed is sanctified, that should not be defiled. Adultery. How do we manage a situation where there's infidelity in a marriage? Because it has to be a bringing some stress.
Exactly.
In the whole marriage.
Exactly. Thank you. So before that, there's this saying that we always have. It goes like there's no smoke without fire, right? Yeah. Now, whenever you determine what a problem is, you have to go down to the roots and find out what actually caused that problem. So assuming we have a home where the woman lives so far away from the husband, and it so happens that the husband is not so biblically grounded, and so he doesn't have self-discipline, what will happen? He'll commit adultery. It's the simplest thing. Now, assuming maybe even the man and the woman are living together, but maybe for some reason, we can't tell. Maybe the woman has had a past life. Not all women are promiscuous, but maybe she's had a few relationships before she came into the marriage. Now she's in the marriage with maybe Brajeri. Brajeri is so engrossed in his work that when he comes home, he doesn't give the wife that maximum satisfaction. Some men can give, but they don't give for the woman to be satisfied. Some men do not give at all, because of circumstances beyond their control. Now, if the woman in question doesn't have self-discipline, and like I said on the man's part, the woman is also not biblically grounded in order to know that these are the values, this is what the word of God says. I have to be able to comport myself as a woman. Even if my husband travels for 1,000 years, I see other men who are equally attractive. They flirt with me every day. But what will I do? Because of what I know, I will not allow myself. Because of the children that I have around me, I will not give in to these kinds of issues that may crop up. So adultery actually has its major root cause. And I think that in dealing with the problem, we have to dig down and find out where the problem is coming from.
So what happens when the problem is hereditary? Can you accept
the hereditary part? In fact, I saw it in the lesson. And I was now trying to relate to it, where a father can pass adultery onto his son.
Sexual promiscuity can be a trait that exists
exactly
as a weakness
exactly.
in the, because the Bible talks of Abraham passing on a certain kind of weakness to Isaac, and it's you see it in the Bible. It goes on. So it's possible that the man has that promiscuous nature that is dormant. Maybe nothing has happened, so nothing has triggered anything. But it may be that he has that all men are promiscuous, but not all men can be that easily promiscuous. But some can easily fall into promiscuity because of the kind of background they have, the kind of family tree they come in.
Yeah.
So in that instance, you find your Bible. Dicky.
Okay, so are you saying that that lifestyle is a gene? Is it a gene?
No, I think what he is just saying, you know, in the home, as you may, we pick up a lot of traits.
Yes.
When we started on marriage, you realize that Mr. Oni mentioned that we pick up the values from, in fact, of counseling, from the parents. So in a home where the man is always going after women, even in the presence of his children. Maybe the wife has traveled. He brings multiple women home. The child is just 3 or 4 years, now 6 years, now a teenager. He picks it up easily. It becomes a hereditary passing from the father to the son. Assuming the dad always beats the wife at home. The son is there, the daughter is there. Even as little as 2 years, they start picking. These things have ripple effects.
Yeah, okay, I agree, you see. But in the long run, you see, no matter your temperament or whatever you are, the scripture must take you down. No matter what. People have been able to have lions in their house. How did it happen? They did everything possible, you know, to tame those wild animals, you see. So it is possible. So you as a person don't have to glorify your temperament that me, I am this, me, I am that. It shouldn't be.
It's family.
So it's family.
Me and my wife.
Yes, so
my wife knows that maybe I have this as a weakness. Exactly. There are some families, there are some marriages that they know that the man has a weakness, so he doesn't handle financial issues. Out of understanding, they know that my wife handles the money.
Yeah, so you let the partner help you, you know, to deal with the situation. As a companionship, you see. So if like I was saying that if let's say you know that your wife or your husband likes it, he can even do it every day within a week. Or let's say you perceive that, let's say 3 times a week. But if you realize that maybe he likes it, you know, in order to help the man, you know, not to go outside the bed, the marriage bed, you see, you find a way. You see, but you have to find a way through the scriptures so you can, you know, come together in a way to settle things, to adjust things, you see. So it is incumbent on you to, you know, prepare yourself, sack yourself that, okay, let me just try and do it. And then aside that, you pray, because you cannot leave prayer aside. You pray and you work towards it. So that it will help you. Because Hannah didn't just cry though. Hannah cried and she prayed as well. So that's the most thing that most at times we lost it. You just talk about the issue and just leave it at that. But as Christians, you talk about it and you pray then you take every action that you need to take. Then you leave the rest to God.
Okay.
So we are talking about the hereditary part, right?
Yes.
So one, I believe it is self-discipline, and then getting to make a decision. Making a decision and self-discipline. Let me even use my leader as an example. Before I go to know Christ, he was an alcoholic. And he was somebody who also liked to keep alcoholic. That was my dad's life. And then we got to a point, he would call his own son over there and send him to go and buy the delivery and bring to the house. We will give the numbers to it. Funny enough, we are four. All the four of us. None of them took after that alcoholic. None of us took after the gambling. Why? Because our mother was always there to restrict on us. And there are times I could see my dad drink and do a whole lot of stuff. So in my mind, I'm like, so if you drink, this is how you behave. That is the decision. Two, and it got to a point, I got to know that if you are taking alcohol, let me say, maybe because I'm also educated, I get to know that. So if you take alcohol, you do this, you do that. So for the hereditary aspect, I believe that there are activities to it. But if you want to make a decision to refrain from it, you can make that decision to refrain from it. And then self-discipline that I'm talking about. Like you said, almost every man has the potential of doing it.
Yes.
But it is self-discipline. Earlier, when we were talking about marriage, Madam Madeleine said something. But when she was talking, I said that even the day we are getting married to, there's one lady in France who me and the warrior.
Yeah.
But it is self-discipline. The very moment you make up your mind that this is what I want to do, it means that you are supposed to be dedicated on that particular thing. If you take your eye off that thing, you lose something that you are supposed to do. Like she was saying, there are times you might even do it and later you feel like, oh, why did I do? How did I get to this point? Because maybe like Mr. Paul was saying, maybe them can penetrate times a week. Or answer for one time a week. It is companionship, it is discussion, it is about two of you sitting down to make it work. That is where the issue always comes in. Okay, I want three, okay, I want one, okay, I'm going outside. But then, that is where the self-discipline comes in.
Okay.
That you are supposed to, marriage, sorry, but I'm going back to marriage, you are supposed to compromise to make something work. If you don't do so, it becomes difficult. So I believe that the hereditary aspect is there. You can, of course, inherit what your mother or father was doing in the past. But you are supposed to put a premium on it that, I know, but it's just like somebody who is diabetic. You know it's hereditary. Yeah. If the traits are there, if your mother had diabetes, if your daddy was a diabetic patient, one show you are a potential candidate. So the very moment you know that you're a potential candidate, you put in the measures not to even get closer to that thing. Because if you put in that lifestyle, we are then it will come. I have a friend. She's a lady. Aside on the side, now the power in the man also has children with allergies. Now his junior brother goes out. He says that, or equal or whatever, why do you think he has that confidence to say that? Because he's seen the father doing it. Has 2 wives here, 3 men here. So you have to you don't have confidence to talk about it. But the guy is doing it, so you feel that and God to be another good man. How I that if I do it was a problem here. So the potentiality is there. But like I'm saying, it is self-discipline and you make the decision that I will do this.
Okay, yes. Deacon Frimpong mentioned something, and based on what Brother Awuni has told us now, I want to touch on it a little. He mentioned that in order for you to find the balance between the two, in order for you to find the balance when it comes to adultery, if you know that the man has a high sexual drive where he wants to do it 5 times or 6 times in a week, give it to him. And it may help to control. With that one, I beg to differ a bit. Now, even when it comes to sexual intercourse, let's say we have 2 ladies here. The man has a very high sexual drive. Brother Jerry's wife can be very beautiful. Maybe his wife is my lady here. Maybe when it comes to sex, they do not communicate. They do not communicate in the sense that Brother Jerry can be married to his wife for like 40 years, but he will not even know the right spot that when he touches, it moves her. She can even be in the marriage and always be faking as if Brother Jerry is the strongest man in bed. It's a practical thing I'm actually saying. Because let me just tell you the bitter truth. Some of the women feel that when we are in a sexual relationship, whether we are married, in fact, sexual immorality is wrong.
Yeah.
But when you are in a relationship with a particular partner and you are in a sexual encounter, and the woman doesn't behave in a way that she's so aroused, it will sort of dampen the man's ego. So especially when she loves the man or she's committed to him, there are days that his sexual performance will be bad, but she will make him feel good of himself. But that is not the truth. There are some women, like I actually watched a video on YouTube. The woman has been with her husband for 60 years. She had never had an orgasm. She didn't know. She didn't know what. Sorry about this, though. So the woman was even in a situation where she happened to be seduced by some men are very naughty. The man knew that the woman was married, but he found a way to convince and he had an affair with her. That was the first time in the woman's entire life, since she was a child till she was about 60-something, that she actually reached orgasm. And she actually felt that it was so different that when she now met her husband realized that the woman had gone to do something because her composure and what she was always used to changed. So what am I saying? The issue of feeling that you have satisfied someone sexually doesn't mean you have actually satisfied them sexually. Because some men can sleep with 1,000 women. They will not still be satisfied. They will see the next one. They can sleep with her now. Yeah. So what should we do? One, we should communicate often about what we want, especially the women. We should let our husbands or our partners know that if you touch me in this area, or maybe if you kiss me in this area, or you arouse me, or maybe your hands go in a particular direction, it sort of gives me the pleasure I need. So that when you are satisfied, I am also satisfied. So if I'm coming to work and the night before, I am satisfied. There's no way that they can Frimpong come and arouse me. Let's go to washroom and go and do it. That's me, I'll do it. Because already I am satisfied. On the part of the men, we have to consider that every bad habit can sometimes become chronic and very addictive. In as much as we were talking about alcoholism, drug abuse being addictive, adultery can also be addictive. Yeah. Some men have become so promiscuous, people will be passing the phrase, now where they are born in So here's the case whereby you as the woman, you sat down and realized, fine, all men at one point can be promiscuous. They feel remorse. They try as much as possible to work on themselves. But you are sitting down, you realize that your husband there, it's as if there's something wrong. One, you first have to communicate with the person. For the person to even have that sense of, some people don't know they are doing things wrong. They think it's normal. Let the man now begin to have that realization and now sort of have a sober reflection and realize that no, I now have to start feeling remorseful. If you get the man to that point and he opens up and you start communicating and you realize that it's a chronic or addictive situation, he has to go for counseling. There are a lot of people who go through these sessions and it has helped them.
So let's come to that issue. Like how to breaking from addictions and helping each other. Because the issue of counseling, the lesson prescribes that we shouldn't feel shy to get help for ourselves and our partners to help the family. Because the thing is that if you are okay, it will reduce the stress level in the family. So sometimes it's good to go for help. But the issue is that which help? As Christians, would we subscribe to the help from the church? Or we should go and see a therapist, a professional who knows how to help an addict. Because in the church, we default to prayer faster. You were getting this.
Exactly. Yes. As Christians, I think one of the mistakes we've been making is that as for the biblical aspects, we can never take it away from anything. But sometimes we should also realize that it's not everything that is always about Bible or prayer. You've realized that the man is a chronic cheat. It's like he's literally sleeping with everything in skirt. You now have to take that bold step. But before you take the bold step of advising him to go for counseling, you have to psych him to be in that position where he is ready to go through that therapy. Because if the person doing the thing doesn't feel remorse and is not ready to go through the therapy, if you go up and you come down, it will not be a fruitful session. So I think that the communication is key. Trying as much as possible with patience to help the person to come to that state of remorse. When you do it patiently and with love, it will yield efforts than when you are forcing the man. So assuming
Some women are
they are very insulting.
They will make you
You are a foolish man, you are a swine, you sleep with everything in skirts. But another woman's approach will be to call the husband, even when she has caught the husband. Then the woman will be in an emotional state, not an emotional state of anger, emotional state of being torn apart. And make the man see that this is not a mind game though, but let the man see that this is how you are feeling. Don't insult him, because when it comes to addiction, some people want to stop, but they cannot. So let the man know that this is how you are feeling. If he sees that broken down state of the woman, I doubt that any man sees a woman that he really loves. And when she's in that situation, the man will it doesn't happen. Because all the men who chase the women around, they always come back to their wives. They will never leave their wife for anybody there. Meaning that there's an element of love. So if he realizes the woman is in pain, and the woman gets him to get to that remorseful level, and they communicate, and he goes for therapy, and there's prayer backing, your deacons and your pastors are schooling, helping you through, you'll just make it.
Gambling. Let's talk about how do we help gambling. Because like right now, yesterday I was watching the TV and they were doing lottery on the TV. Right now, almost all TV stations are doing lottery.
Your phones are sending
Almost everywhere. How do we handle? Because like these addictions, people's marriages are on serious troubles because of gambling, sports betting, all kinds of things. So let's look at, because these are all stress-inducing factors. So
So for the gambling house, like whenever doing this, it's all going on to consent because there are times a person wants to stop.
at which point does it become a problem?
It becomes a problem when you become so much into it, like you become an addict of it. I have a friend who tells you that, oh, me, if I gamble and I don't mean I will stop. That's how it starts. Because you'll be there, you'll be trying, oh, 10 cities, oh, 20 cities, 30 cities. Then it starts to be high. Then you think, oh, I didn't do it well. I take 100 cities, I want 5,000.
Try.
That's how they want, yes. That's how it starts. So definitely becomes control. 100 cities, 5,000. If I put, then automatically your mind will be like,
Start calculating the odds.
I put it
Like 2,000.
if I had played this, I would have felt like out of not doing it. This is how it starts. So if you do that 100 cities and you win the 5,000, maybe you are going to pay romance, how much did I get? Then it starts riding in your mind and it starts taking. So you see that you get to a point. And funny enough, because of these technologies, you can easily do it on your phone. Unlike first you had to walk to next week to Wednesday to go on a break. But now it's on your phone, just right on your doorstep. So somebody picks up the phone, let's log into the account, straight to that. And a lot of the boys are even into their bank account. That is where it becomes straight. Because
Somebody uses own salary.
yes, somebody, they have linked. Most of these my friends who are, I'm a footballer, so I have a lot of footballer. They are linked to they have sports teams. They have this one thing, and they have linked all of them to their bank.
As a Christian.
So he sits in his house, Saturday morning, his house is full. It's a football week.
It's not pay school fees, you're about to pay rent.
It's a football weekend.
Chop money has not.
That is where it is. So in his mind, he's like, I have rent to pay. If I take 100 cities out, I'll pay 5,000. Can solve that rent. then Ogre will chop you. Then you come back to square one. That is how the addiction starts. So the moment you put in your money, they take your money out. You are paying after they money back. Then they keep taking the money out. So it becomes an addiction. That is the reason why even the sport betting app is telling you that.
That's responsibility.
It's an addiction. Yes, so very responsible. Because they know it's an addiction. And you will be addicted. They say they have one, they call it.
Is it the aviator or something?
You will die. And the sound behind the thing itself, you will get it. Because you play the one day, and the game is going like, so it becomes an addiction. But how do you prepare for it? My accountant in the house, he likes doing it. Then one day, they took his money away. He activated the account, called the office, and told them that they should suspend the account to June 39. But they suspended the account to June 39. One day he was there, he said he was going to take it. He called the employer and told him that, but you told us to suspend your account. Now you can't do it about it. So people want to try for it.
But it's hard.
That is very hard. Because it is now unrealistic. In the past, if it was about walking to go to places to go and play, you feel like going. Christians will feel like because if I go there, majority me coming out today. I will go there. I will feel shy to go there. When I came to Tapa first, I didn't have PS in the house, so I used to watch football at the one that there was a time I went to watch football. As soon as I came out, I went to Augustine. Augustine was like, maybe he in his mind, he knew that they to watch football. But somebody might not think that I think it's just football. So now they found ways and ways to bring it to the Lord. So a Christian is suffering in his house. They have to store it. And it cut across almost everybody's needs. It is very scary.
So I think the issue of stress is very
critical. So it's breaking away from this. You can try to break away.
Even children who become addicts to these things bring stress to their house. Because the child is still
they will feel it. They feel it. Yes. So like what Amadi was saying, it is the counseling and the therapy. But is it fortunate or unfortunate? Our system is not like this. How many people can even afford to do therapy?
No, Africans don't believe in it.
We don't even believe in it.
So before I left Gofields, one day they said that they have employed the therapist to handle workers who wants therapy. Like they want
nobody.
And for a whole month, 0 sessions.
Because we don't understand it.
We're not used to it.
That is where the depression, the mental health situation is setting on the time.
So I want us to switch to the final part of the conversation as we bring it on. A broken family unit can cause the church to become weak. Everybody, let's all take our final say on this statement. Broken family units has an effect on the church. That is why we are doing this lesson, so that we don't break our families to some of these addictions and some of these stresses, which can be avoided. And also the notion that God is there to help us. The confidence that God will see me through does not helps me to not use betting as a means to supplement my income. Kwabena, you come in first, then Madam will take the last one.
Okay, I think a broken home will definitely affect the church, because if you are not sound in the house, you are not going to have that right attitude, that right mentality, to serve God. You see, at times people come to church and you see it's as if the body is there, but the mind is somewhere. You see, the mind is far, far somewhere. It's all because of these problems. So if you are able to tackle such issues in the house, and we are free, our minds are free, we come to the house of God, and we will be able to, fellowship and have that joy that we want to, experience, or that we expected to, receive in the house of God. But if you have all these stress coming out from the children's side, let's say the parents, one of them brings all sort of stress to you, the children's side, and then maybe there's also financial stress, constraint somewhere. You don't have the right mind. Even it will affect your fellowship with God. It will affect your personal relationship with God. If you are not deep in in the things of God. In fact, you even forget that you're a Christian. And at times, it will even sway you away. And the enemy can capitalize on it. And say that you say you're a Christian, see where you are in. There's no need to go to the church. You see, at this point, you need to get some smooth, in a glass of, wine to wipe up your stress. You see, why should you go to church? Get somewhere, and this is the time that you have a friend, like a worldly person or something of that sort. You will easily now accept his advice, and then you follow. And by this, church has reduced quantity-wise. That's reduced because you didn't go to church. You see, and in the long run, it will affect the family as a whole, and that family, it will translate into the church. Whatever thing that the church is doing, you don't be able to participate well. You will be to give your fully attention to the things of God, and that will have a long way against the church.
Because you take like same thing where football is saying, assuming you are going to bed at night, had an assignment to you had something or occasion or whatever, and it's a Saturday. Are you sure you wake up Sunday and say you won't wake up? Automatically, the mood and everything will not be there. Who will wake you up that who will get in trouble? Even if you meet someone, they will even tell you, when they will watch out. So automatically, church will reduce, and then let's not forget that church goes with the finances goes to the church. I.e., if I'm using the example as an example, I'm a Christian, we are family, I'm supposed to pay my tithes, give offerings and all those stuff. Now all those things are going to be done. Am I sure I will give that much price?
Churches becoming weaker
financially, all those money that goes to the church is now going to the company.
The governments are troubling.
They are taking money, but church will increase. Well, the church goes without finances. One like is not. There is a finances we give to the church that is not a church built. So if you're always giving that money to the government, church will increase financially. Your prayer life, your attitude towards church, all the so the church will not.
Okay, so I'll come in and fundamentally summarize. So in my own personal opinion, I believe like stress is something that can be avoided where it is not originating from a normal day-to-day life. The kind of stress we can avoid, let's do it. What you cannot avoid, we must learn to trust God according to the scriptures that God is our ever-present help in times of need. In this time of economic hardship, and yet things are expensive, eating is a big challenge, but we should not now use other means to sort yourself out. Somebody said he's gambling to buy food. He's gambling to supplement his job money. Somebody is thinking of using other means to bring yourself enough so that you can be okay. Please, let's not throw away our biblical principles and subscribe to what the Bible is against. Now, our Mother Magdalene will summarize and give us his professional and every opinion.
Okay, thank you, Brother Jerry. So, before I even touch on what you've asked me, we all have to take note that for every institution, of which the church is not an exception, stems up from the family. So the family system is what makes up our church units. The family system is what transforms into our environment where we live. It transforms into ethnic groups. Even at workplaces, we interrelate because of our family system. Now, it can have an impact on the church in that the church units can be weak if the family system, which I have mentioned, is not having a firm grounding. So, for example, as a result of stress, now the father or the head of the home has resorted to alcoholism. Or as a result of financial constraints, the woman has now been going to, they say they call somewhere the reels, so that she can get some good money from the Goldfields patronizers. Okay. Now, we always have to take note that this family system that I keep talking about within the church, some of them own leadership positions. So, for example, Deacon Frimpong is with a wife and he has other beautiful children. He says he's adding more. They form one family, but they are within the church unit. Brother Jerry has the wife, the children. It's another unit. So you realize that in the church, it's group. For some reason, it's people and their children. People later you realize this one sibling is this one. Until later, I didn't know all of this. So now, assuming that each family unit is having a shaky ground, alcoholism is may God forbid, in Mr. Uni's, adultery is in my unit. Pastor, as for Brother Jerry, maybe he's a deacon, but he will not even come to church. The children don't come to Sunday school, and gradually the church becomes shaky. So in the area of leadership, the leaders in the church, some are getting drunk and taking omutu. People are seeing them going to 1xBet, playing aviator and all that. They are not even setting good example for some of the younger ones within the church. So assuming I'm seeing my deacon always coming from some blue spots or some lotto kiosk or from the rails or at Betway, then automatically I say, hey, what is this? If Deacon Frembon comes to stand in front of me on Sunday and he says he's taking me through Sunday school, I'll say, oh, this man, he's not serious. He's not serious. So gradually you realize that the church will be losing its firm grounding. Morally, the church will not be sound because things that we are supposed to do are godly values, dwelling on the word of God, living exemplary lives, we have put them aside. When that happens, you realize that the church can be in existence for about 50 years. But when they say, which people visited us today, not even a single soul.
No impact.
Evangelism will go down. Deacons are not able to even take people through what they have to go as family units and all. It's a whole lot. So I just feel that the family not being well grounded can have a negative impact on the church as a unit.
Okay, so on that note, we bring our conversation to a close. And this is a wrap on the family conversation. And please, let's do it. Let's help ourselves, help our family, and help our church. God bless you, and we'll see you again in the next lesson. Bye-bye.